I welcome you all to my fourth lecture on digital signal processing, that is UEC 502, for electronics and communication engineering students and electronics and computer engineering students. We will first discuss DFT, that is discrete Fourier transform. The DFT as a linear transformation. Using formulas for the DFT and IDFT, we can represent DFT and IDFT pair as capital XK equal to summation n running from 0 to capital N minus 1, xn, capital W raised to power kn, where k is ranging from 0 to n minus 1, and that form the DFT, which is indicated by equation A, and small xn is equal to 1 by n, summation running from k 0 to n minus 1, capital Xk, capital W raised to 1 minus kn, where n is ranging from 0 to capital N minus 1, which forms IDFT, and I mark it as equation B. Here small x indicates discrete time sequence, and capital X is showing frequency domain samples, where capital W with subscript n is equal to e raised to minus j2 pi by n is called twiddle factor, which is usually referred to as an nth root of unity. Here, each point of DFT can be computed by capital N complex multiplications and capital N minus 1 complex additions. Now, if I look at this, k is ranging from 0 to capital N minus 1, that is indicated of frequency component, that is indicator of frequency components. So n point DFT values can be computed in total n square complex multiplications, that is n into n, and total n into n minus 1 complex additions. So this forms the computational complexity of n point DFT. Twiddle factor is used to reduce the computational complexity of DFT and IDFT operation. We can exploit the properties of twiddle factor to serve this purpose. When we will do fast Fourier transform in next lectures, we will discuss the utility of twiddle factor there. We can also view DFT and IDFT as linear transformation on the sequences xn, small xn, and capital Xk respectively. But first we define n point vector, small x vector of the signal sequence xn, where n is ranging from 0 to n minus 1, as small x vector with dimension n cross 1, where first element is x0 corresponding to n is equal to 0, second element is x1 corresponding to n is equal to 1, and the last element is xn minus 1 corresponding to n is equal to n minus 1. And an n point vector, capital X vector of frequency samples, is formed as capital X vector equal to a vector of dimension n cross 1 with first element capital X0 corresponding to k is equal to 0, second element capital X1 corresponding to k is equal to 1, and last element capital Xn minus 1 corresponding to k is equal to n minus 1. And define a matrix capital W, which is matrix of linear transformation, which is having dimension n cross 1, n cross n, like this, Here the twiddle factors are arranged in a certain fashion. Now by using equation A, and by using this twiddle factor matrix, we can express n point DFT in matrix form as capital X vector is equal to W matrix into small x vector. We mark it as equation C. And in this way, we can calculate DFT in matrix form. And here, this vector is having different values. Here, the elements of capital X vector are different sample values in frequency domain. Now, if and only if the inverse of capital W matrix exists, then by pre-multiplying both sides in above equation by inverse matrix W, we obtain small x vector equal to inverse of matrix W into capital X vector. Now, looking at this small x vector, it is appearing to be IDFT. It is appearing to be IDFT. However, from equation B and this twiddle factor matrix, we can express n point IDFT in matrix form as small x vector is equal to 1 by n capital W matrix with a conjugate into capital X vector, and this forms the equation E. So it's in this way I'm going to calculate n point IDFT using matrix method approach, where conjugate of capital W matrix indicates the complex conjugate of the matrix capital W. From equation D and E, this and this, both are appearing to be IDFT. So from equation D and E, it is apparent that inverse of capital W matrix is equal to 1 by n into conjugate of capital W matrix. It results in capital W matrix multiplied with conjugate of capital W matrix equal to capital N into matrix I, where matrix I is an n cross n identity matrix, and W, capital W matrix is an orthogonal unitary matrix, and its inverse exists as inverse of W matrix. And this you have studied in your mathematics course, I hope so. So this technique, whether this technique works or not, we will verify it by doing one example on this. That is, compute DFT of the 4-point sequence xn such that small x vector, that is having sample point values or values of sequence xn in the vector form as 4 cross 1 vector with first element as -2, second -1, third +1, and final last one is +2. But we first need to determine the matrix capital W with capital N is equal to 4 by periodicity property of twiddle factor W raised to power k for capital N is equal to 4. Here, W raised to power k is equal to W raised to the power k plus capital N. Yes, this is periodicity property. By symmetry property of twiddle factor W raised to power k, we can analyze that W raised to power k plus N by 2 is equal to minus W raised to power k. And this can be easily verified for symmetrical property. What we need to do, we need to form the twiddle factor matrix for capital N is equal to 4 with a dimension 4 cross 4. Now twiddle factors are once more arranged in a particular fashion, and on solution I find that first row is having all elements as 1, and first column is also having all elements as 1, and here I can see that the same twiddle factor is repeating again and again. Here I can have a view W raised to power 2 and W raised to power 2 at 2 positions, W raised to power 6 and W raised to power x 2 positions, W raised to power 3 and W raised to power 3 at 2 positions. Now W raised to the power 6, I can use the periodicity property and convert it to W raised to power 2, W raised to power 2. Now I have W raised to power 2 as 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4 at 4 places. Similarly, W raised to power 3 is appearing at 2 places. W raised to power 1, and there is one more twiddle factor W raised to power 9. By periodicity property, it is converted to W raised to power 1. So W raised to power 1 is repeating 2 times. So we need to calculate twiddle factor once, and then we can substitute that value at other place in the twiddle factor matrix. So this helps us in reducing the computation complexity. Now on solution, I will find that here it is minus 1, here it is minus 1, here it is minus 1, and here it is minus. At 4 places, W raised to the power 2 gives minus 1. Similarly, other elements are calculated. Now using the formula for calculation of DFT, that is capital X vector is equal to matrix W into small x vector. And by matrix operation, multiplication operation, I can get an output vector with dimension 4 cross 1 with first element as 0, and then minus 3 plus 3j, and then minus 2, and then minus 3 minus 3j. And these elements are corresponding to, that is first element 0 is corresponding to k is equal to 0. Second element minus 3 plus 3j is corresponding to k is equal to 1, and so on. However, IDFT of capital X. Now what we have done? We have calculated its DFT. To verify that whether I am correct or not, I will go for its IDFT also and try to obtain the same sequence. However, IDFT of capital X vector can be determined by conjugating the elements of matrix W to obtain conjugate of matrix W as shown. Here plus j is appearing and here is minus j, so I have conjugated it here, which is also equal to 4 times, or n, capital N is equal to 4 into inverse of matrix W. On solution, that is small x vector is equal to 1 by n conjugate of matrix W into capital X vector. Here 1 by n plays an important role, and it is 1 by 4 into conjugate of capital W matrix into capital X vector, and by the matrix operation, multiplication operation, I can get a 4 cross 1 matrix vector at output with first element as -2, second at -1, and third +1, and fourth +2. Here -2 corresponding to n is equal to 0, -1 corresponding to n is equal to 1, +1 corresponding to n is equal to 0, 1, 2, and +2 n is equal to 3. N is index of time in discrete time sequence. So if I look at the question, it is same. So our matrix operation is correct, and this is the best matrix. The calculation of DFT and IDFT through matrix operation or matrix method is compatible with MATLAB programming. So we can form a general program to calculate DFT and IDFT of sequences. Next is properties of DFT. First is periodicity. If xn and xk, if xn, small xn, and capital Xk are an n-point DFT pair, then small xn is equal to xn plus n for all n, and capital Xk is equal to capital Xk plus n for all k. This is simple periodicity, very simple to understand, that is sequence is periodic. Linearity, if x1n is a sequence and we take its DFT, we will get capital X1. Similarly for x2 sequence, after DFT I will get capital X2 in frequency domain. Now for any real valued or complex valued constants A1 and A2, A1 x1n plus A2 x2n is a sequence, and when we take its DFT, then it should give A1 x1k plus A2 x2k if it is linear, and it is found to be linear. The most important property is circular symmetry of sequence. Therefore, n-point DFT of a finite duration sequence of length x of sequence x, so n-point DFT of finite duration sequence xn of length capital L less than equal to capital N is equivalent to the n-point DFT of a periodic sequence xpn of period capital N. It gives us an opportunity to represent sequence xn as in a circular fashion, that is x vector, small x vector is having dimension 4 cross 1, having 4 elements. I will represent it in circular fashion in counterclockwise direction. Counterclockwise direction. Here, this point indicates n is equal to 0. This point indicates n is equal to 1 and 2, and n is equal to 3. Okay. So this is x0, x1, x2, and x3 in the counterclockwise section. In general, the circular shift of the sequence can be represented as the index modulo n. It follows that x dash n equal to x n minus k comma modulo n operation equal to x bracket n minus k bracket close with subscript capital N. Here it is indicating modulo n operation because we have arranged sequence in a circular fashion. If k is equal to 2 and n is equal to 4, we take this example, then x dash n is equal to x bracket n minus 2 bracket close with subscript 4 and this 4 indicates modulo 4 operation. Now x dash 0 is equal to x bracket minus 2 bracket close with subscript 4, and by modulo 4 operation it is equal to x2. Similarly, x dash 1 is equal to x3, x dash 2 is equal to x0, and x dash 3 is equal to x1. Now come to this. This point is n is equal to 0, so x dash 0 is equal to x2. This point is n is equal to 1, so x dash 1 is x3. This point is this point is n is equal to 2, so x dash 2 is equal to x0. And this point is n is equal to 3, x dash 3 is equal to x1. So this clearly shows a shift, as 2 is there. So it clearly shows a shift of sample in a circular fashion. Now, an n-point sequence is called circularly even if it is symmetric about the point 0 on the circle. An n-point sequence is called circularly even if it is symmetric about the point 0 on the circle. This is n is equal to 0 point. It follows that x capital N minus n is equal to xn when n is ranging from 1 to n minus 1. An n-point sequence is called circularly odd if it is asymmetric about the point 0 on the circle, such that x capital N minus n is equal to minus xn when n is ranging from 1 to capital N minus 1. The time reversal of an n-point sequence is attained by reversing its samples about the point 0 on the circle. Once more, I show you this is point 0, and we consider it a reference point, that is point 0, n is equal to 0. So x bracket minus n bracket closed with capital N showing the modulo n operation is equal to x capital N minus n, where n is ranging from 0 to n minus 1. This time reversal is equivalent to plotting xn in a clockwise direction on the circle. That is, in the opposite direction, in the clockwise direction. If time reversal is there, I will reverse in clockwise direction. Now, if the sequence is complex valued, for conjugate even, xn is equal to x star capital N minus n, and conjugate odd is represented as xn is equal to minus x conjugate capital N minus n. The above relationships suggest that we can decompose xn as xn is equal to xce, conjugate ce is conjugate even n, plus x conjugate odd n, where xcen is equal to 1 by 2 xn plus x conjugate capital N minus n, and x conjugate odd n is equal to 1 by 2 xn minus x star n minus n. Let us consider that capital N point sequence xn and its DFT are both complex valued. Then these sequences can be represented as xn is equal to xrn plus iota xin, and xk is equal to xrk plus iota capital Xi k, when n is changing from 0 to n minus 1, or k is lying in the range 0 to n minus 1, where capital R is real part and capital I is indicating imaginary part. Now, capital Xk we all know that is equal to n running from summation n running from 0 to n minus 1 xn e raised to power minus j 2 pi kn by n equal to, now instead of xn I will substitute xrn plus iota xin here, and by mathematical calculations I will find these two relations, that xk from xk, the real part of xk, that is xrk, is this, and imaginary part of xk, that is xik, is this. So we can calculate real and imaginary part of DFTs also using the real and imaginary part of time domain, discrete time domain sequence also by using this formula. Similarly, xn, small xn is equal to 1 by n, that is IDFT, that is small xn is equal to 1 by n summation k running from 0 to n minus 1 capital xk e raised to power 2 e raised to power j 2 pi k n by n running from 0 to n minus 1 or n ranging from 0 to n minus 1. Here substitute xk is equal to xrk plus iota xik. Here instead of xk you use xrk plus iota xik. And we know that xn is also complex, so xn is equal to xrn plus jxin. So by mathematical simplification, I can show that small xrn, that is real part of xn, is obtained like this, and imaginary part of small xn, that is xin, is obtained by this expression. So xrn, real part of time domain sequence xn, can be calculated by using real part of DFT capital XRK and imaginary part of DFT capital XIK. So it is how we use different equations to calculate real and imaginary part separately also. Some other important properties are, if x conjugate n is there, then its DFT is capital X conjugate n minus k. If x conjugate capital N minus n is in time domain, then its DFT is capital X conjugate k. Now if the real part of time domain sequence is taken and its DFT is taken, then it is coming out to be capital X conjugate even sequence. Similarly, I can obtain out, I can perform DFT for this, that is iota xin, that is imaginary part of discrete time signal sequence, and if I will take its DFT, I will find that it is capital X conjugate odd sequence. Similarly, if I am having small x conjugate even sequence in time domain, then its DFT will give you capital X R K, that is the real part of capital X K. And if I am having conjugate odd sequence in discrete time domain, then its DFT will be iota X capital X I K. So these are some properties which are used when we go for its applications of DFT according to the situation or application. This article is very important, very important. That is multiplication of two DFTs and concept of circular convolution. Let us consider two finite duration sequences of length capital N, that is x1n and x2n. Now DFT corresponding to x1 is capital X1, and DFT corresponding to small x2 is capital X2. Now capital X1 is represented as summation n running from 0 to n minus 1 x1 n e raised to 1 minus j 2 pi n k by n. And we define here x2k is equal to summation L running from 0 to n minus 1 x2l e raised to minus j 2 pi l k by n. Here L and n are time domain index, discrete time domain index, and k is indicator of frequency component. I'm using here n and here L. Now through multiplication process, x3k is equal to x1k into x2k. That is DFT of one sequence is multiplied by DFT of second sequence. Now if I will take its IDFT, that is n point IDFT, I will get a sequence x3m. M is changing from 0 to n minus 1. This is also time domain index, a variable m to indicate time domain, discrete time domain sample. Now taking IDFT of x3k, we find that x3m is equal to 1 by n, k running from 0 to n minus 1 in summation, x3k e raised to power j 2 pi k m by n. Now substituting the value of x3k from this, that is x1k into x2k. Now x1k we have defined like this and x2k like this. Further substitution of x1k here and x2k here, we will find on mathematical simplification that x3m is equal to 1 by n, summation n running from 0 to capital N minus 1, x1n, summation L running from 0 to n minus 1, x2l, and a term in this bracket, that is summation k running from 0 to n minus 1 e raised to power j 2 pi k bracket m minus n minus L by n. The term in this summation term in the bracket plays an important role. Now we will first analyze this term in this portion. Let's mark a is equal to e raised to power j 2 pi m minus n minus L by n, where a is equal to 1 for m minus n minus L is a multiple of capital N. Now this summation is equal to capital N for a is equal to 1 and 1 minus a raised to power n, 1 over 1 minus a for a not equal to 1. Very simple. It is simple mathematics. Now from this property, if I consider L is equal to m minus n plus pn, where p is an integer, I can write it as in the form of modulo n operation, that is equal to m minus n bracket m minus n bracket close with subscript capital N. So this summation will have value equal to n for L equal to m minus n plus pn, and this summation will have value 0 otherwise. This is very important. Now for a particular value of L, that is for a particular value of L that is equal to m minus n plus pn, the value of this summation is capital N. So I will substitute this value in this formula. Here L is equal to a typical value of L, that is L is equal to m minus n plus pn. I will substitute here and this summation will give you capital N. And it is clear that consequently IDFT of x3k yields x3m is equal to 1 by n x1n, x2 m minus n plus pn into capital N. So this capital N is going to cut down with this n. And the resultant is summation n running from 0 to n minus 1, x1n, x2 bracket m minus n bracket close with subscript capital N, which is indicator of modulo n operation. This expression is quite similar to convolution, or we can say expression has the form of a convolution sum, but it is not the traditional linear convolution sum. This convolution sum formula is involving the index bracket m minus n bracket closed with subscript capital N modulo, that is indicator modulo n operation. It is referred to as the circular convolution in discrete time domain. So it is not linear convolution sum. This is circular convolution in discrete time domain. So this formula is indicator of circular convolution in discrete time domain. It is quite different from linear convolution sum. In next lecture, we will discuss that in detail, that how they are different and when they are same. So it may be inferred that multiplication of the DFTs of two sequences in frequency domain, this, it may be inferred that multiplication of the DFTs of two sequences in frequency domain is equivalent to the circular convolution of these two sequences in the discrete time domain. This is a statement which need to be remembered because it has found many applications in the field of communication and signal processing. So we have analyzed that the multiplication of two DFTs is equivalent to circular convolution in time domain, discrete time domain. And that's all for this lecture. I finish here, and thanks for attending this session on DSP. And for this course on digital signal processing, you need to follow these reference books. And for self-study, you can purchase 1 or 2 books of your own choice from this list. Thank you.